The government will evaluate and refine its strategies in the fight against COVID-19 to determine if its current methods are still effective in tackling the surge in daily cases. According to Bernama, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the matter will be discussed in the special session of the National Security Council, which he will chair on Monday. Especially of concern, he said, are the badly affected areas in the Greater Klang Valley, which covers Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, as well as several other states which have recorded an increase. Among others, he said, the council will also look into whether there is a need to improve screening and testing. It will also look into the challenges and internal problems faced by the Ministry of Health, including the need for staff, medicines and equipment. Citing the ministry's data, he said most of the COVID-19 cases are in categories 1 and 2, while only 1.2% fall under the more severe categories 3, 4 and 5. He said the most important thing is to ensure that the ICUs and other facilities at the hospitals are able to accommodate the increasing number of cases. Malaysia reported another record high of new COVID-19 cases today, as daily infections climbed further to 20,889 from yesterday's 20,596. Selangor again led with the highest number of cases at 8,792. The country has now reported over 1.22 million infections. There are 221,396 active cases in total across the country, with 1,096 in the ICU and 545 requiring respiratory assistance. 158 fresh fatalities were recorded, taking the death toll to 10,177. Selangor Health Department Director Datuk Dr. Seri Nadiman says the manufacturing sector was the biggest contributor of COVID-19 clusters in the state for the entire month of July. According to Newswire Bernama, he said the sector recorded 96 clusters, which is 54% of the total number of clusters during that period. The transmissions occurred in workers' hostels and quarters. He explained that checks on factories found that the SOP compliance level is very good, but workers may not have abided by the guidelines after work. Meanwhile, 22 clusters or 12% of the total were detected in the service sector, and 18 clusters or 10% were discovered at construction sites. There were 9 community clusters or 5%, though all were reported before the Hari Raya Aidil-Adha celebrations. Explaining the situation in Selangor, Dr. Seri said 65% of the cases were asymptomatic, while between 30 to 35% were symptomatic cases, with most of them in category 3, infections with pneumonia but not requiring oxygen. He said close contacts were the biggest contributors to the current situation in Selangor at 40%. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri says 31 BN MPs will continue to support the PN government until its legitimacy is determined in a vote of confidence next month. Ismail Sabri said during a press conference today that the lawmakers were upholding the decree of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong that the government of the day should continue its administration and that a motion of confidence should be tabled at Parliament to enable them to decide if they would support the government or not. He said it is clear that this is what the king wants, as the palace is no longer accepting statutory declarations or letters of support. It is noted that Ismail Sabri's list of lawmakers had included Parit Sulong MP Datuk Sri Noraini Ahmad, who resigned from her post as Higher Education Minister after his press conference, as well as Baling MP Datuk Sri Aziz Abdul Rahim and Tanjung Karang MP Tan Sri Noh Omar, who denied backing Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and the PN administration. Separately, Muhyiddin said he is not worried about having to face a confidence vote at next month's parliament sitting. However, he cautioned that should there be a change of government or political chaos, it may affect the National Recovery Plan and other efforts such as the country's vaccination program. The US Department of Justice says it has repatriated another $452 million or 1.9 billion ringgit in misappropriated funds from 1MDB. This brings the total return to over $1.2 billion or about 5 billion ringgit. In a statement, it said the monies had been laundered through major financial institutions worldwide, including in the US, Switzerland, Singapore and Luxembourg. The funds include both funds finally forfeited and funds the DOJ assisted in recovering and returning. It said it continues to litigate actions against additional assets allegedly linked to this scheme. Over $4.5 billion in funds belonging to 1MDB were allegedly misappropriated by high-level officials of the fund and their associates and Low Tech Joe through a criminal scheme involving international money laundering and embezzlement. Some of the embezzlement proceeds were used to buy luxury assets, including properties and a 300-foot superyacht, bankroll the production company that made The Wolf of Wall Street, and also pay bribes. Former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak is currently on trial for 21 counts of money laundering involving a total of 2.28 billion ringgit and 4 counts of power abuse in relation to the 1MDB funds. He was previously convicted to 12 years imprisonment and fined 210 million ringgit for misappropriating 42 million ringgit from 1MDB's former subsidiary, SRC International. He remains free on bail pending his appeal. The EPF has approved a total of 4.57 million applications for the ITRA facility, amounting to 19.1 billion ringgit in withdrawals as of Wednesday. Its Chief Strategy Officer Nur Hisham Hussain said in a press briefing that the retirement fund has received a total of 4.62 million applications for the facility, with 4.57 million applications approved. This marks a 99% approval rate. About 50,000 applications were still pending, while 551 applications were rejected due to factors such as having insufficient savings and being above the age limit of 55 years old. The rejection figure also included 82 cancelled applications. According to the EPF, about a third of the applicants cited a reduction in income or wages as a reason for the withdrawals. 19% wanted to assist their affected spouse or family members, and 16% said they had been unemployed for a long period. Meanwhile, 62% of applicants said they would use their ITRA funds to finance daily or monthly essential expenditure, while 16% said they needed funds to settle outstanding debts. As at August 4th, the overall outflow due to COVID-19 related assistance offered by the EPF has resulted in an outflow of 86.2 billion ringgit. The EPF expects the total estimated outflow following these programs, including iSINA and iLestari among others, to amount to 117 billion ringgit.